we're supposed to be her last board meeting, but Mr. Shaw was sick, so we allowed him not to come because of that. And so he is here tonight to share his presentation and welcome as well. So we'll let you go ahead and get started. Yeah, absolutely.
It's all right. I'm going to stand just to project better.
Sure.
So, okay. Thank you. So what we specialize in doing capital plans, but it's a little different than sometimes what everybody thinks about when they say capital plan. Lots of times folks think about architects coming in and doing full assessments of the property. I used to be a school treasurer in a previous life. And so as a school treasurer, I wanted folks to think about capital plans as everything that draws off of capital dollars. So that means maintenance items, technology, replace anything we're replacing, anything we're fixing, and any new items as well across all the departments. So it's not just facilities. It can be technology, it can be safety and security, it can be transportation needs or other vehicles, anything that's in the mix that that inside the school system, you're going to have to either replace, maintain, or get new eventually. And so when we say we do capital plans, we do a capital plan that gets all of those things on the table so that when the board's asked to make a decision about whatever the next need is, whether it's putting new flooring or replacing a roof or getting a new truck to do the salt, whatever that is, you know already what all is in the plan and what capital dollars do you have available to address those needs. And so that is what we're going to show you a little bit of the demo tonight, and we'll talk a little bit about what our process is to go through that. Joe does some of the walkthrough and the assessment on different aspects. So if you have a roofing person, if you have a HVAC team, whoever you have that already works on your facilities or your property, Joe can walk through and just work with them to make sure that what they've submitted, what they've got scheduled, is fitting into our overall view of the financing. We're not looking to replace anybody or do anything different with relationships you have. It's more about how do we get everything that everybody knows, all of your directors, all of your partners who work on the facilities. How do we get all that in one place financially so that you're not surprised, right? You can see 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road and know what those capital needs are coming down the way. And so we've designed a software and a process by which we do that to get everything on the table. And it's very inclusive, collaborative. We go through a series of interviews and walkthroughs to make sure that we have it all there for you to see. Make sense? Any questions? I'll do a little bit of a demo if that's okay.
Absolutely.
You want to hand me that mouse and keyboard? Thank you. Oops. And if you can't see it, please move to where you can. It's going to be probably a little bit small, but it's the gist here. Oops. Hang on. Sorry. There we go. So this is kind of the front sheet. And so none of the data that's in here is your data yet. This is just a demo. So you can see once we do your capital plan, it would go into this kind of format so that you can see what you have coming due, if you will. And so you can put in whatever narrative you have about whatever items we find during the process to say, here's our most pressing issues. Here's the things that we know we have to address first. Here's what this plan is designed to do. And it talks about what's included. At the bottom, then, here's the total capital plan. Now, don't get excited. This isn't your numbers, right? So it shows total capital plan. That's 36.7 million. But this is over a 10-year period too. So once we have all of your information in, it's going to show you what the total capital plan is for the next 10 years. Then it's going to break it out by whatever your team decides is the right breakout. In this case, it's facilities and grounds, equipment, and lab upgrades. You might want a different breakout, but it's going to break it out into the things that your folks manage too. And so you can see of the 36.7 in the demo in this particular case, 35 million of it's in facilities, 1.5 in equipment, and a little bit in lab upgrades. Now, for those of you that are more visually inclined about numbers, we can very quickly just click on this bar chart, and it's going to show you the information on an annual basis. Here's what the needs are, color coded by those same categories. So in 2026, here's the facilities and ground needs in green. And then you can kind of hover over the bar and it shows you athletics is in here, HVAC, new construction, and so forth. So you can see kind of what makes up those needs each year going forward in the plan. So you've got a very quick way to look at what's coming due over the 10-year period. And again, it's breaking it out down here. Now, are any of you accountants or numbers folks by trade? No, so I'm probably not. You're probably not going to use this one as much, but he will, right? So this is the credibility point where we can click on and we can see what exactly is in there each year. So we can click on this and see what makes up those bar charts, and we have a location, and we have a category, and we have what it actually is in summary here, year by year by year. So it shows very quick. It gives you a very easy way to drill down and see what's coming due over the next 10 years. Once we get through the total, and please just stop me if you have questions. Once we go through the total here, we can go to one of the sites. So we go to Belmont Career Center, and it's the same format, but now you can see the breakdowns are different. So the total capital plan, again, in this case, 36.7 million over the 10 years, 13.8 of that is at Belmont Career Center. Remember, these are not real numbers. These are fake numbers. For those of you watching at home, also fake numbers, that's important. This is just a demo. So new construction, expansion, HVAC. So now it's showing you the breakout at Belmont. So the same kind of format or methodology, but the breakout now is centered around Belmont to show you what is it that we see coming due at Belmont over the next 10 years. And it's, again, the same method to the madness. Here's the bar chart with color coding in those categories. So how much is in new construction? What do we have coming due in HVAC, parking, asphalt? Again, your team helps us identify what those categories should be for Belmont as we go through the process of identifying what's in the capital. So you get a very good quick summary by location. Same method here. If you want to see the actual numbers, you can click on that and you get the numbers by location, by type. Over here on the side too, you can filter if you're looking to bid out the parking project, for example. You can click on parking and it's going to sort out all of the parking. So it pulls all that parking together so you can get a quick look at what do we have in total parking. I'm not sure which one. We didn't do all of these, but we can go into each program then and look at each program as far as what's coming due. If you wanted to look at what do we have coming in construction trades or welding or so forth, that it's the same method here, narrative about, in this case, skilled trades. And then we could go into welding, and welding would show we have some welding technology we need, in this case, 340,000 over the period. And what is it? So in 26, there's some renovations that need done in welding in this particular example that isn't your numbers. And then the lab equipment in purple. So it very quickly gives us a sense of program by program, what is it that we're looking for in capital needs along the way. We also have this feature by program that shows capacity in the program, which is this green bar for how many students can be enrolled in the program. And the yellow bar would show how many students are enrolled in the program. So you can see, is this a program that's going up in need, or is it falling off with time? So if you're looking at making a decision about a renovation or an increased space or any of that, you can coordinate that with the information we have on the enrollment participating in that program. And then one little neat kind of feature is we also have a way that you can add pictures. if you were going to use this out for different folks, you might want to show a picture of something that needs done or a picture of something that just got done inside of that program. And so you can click on that icon and bring up pictures as well so that people can get a sense of what is it that you're actually looking to do from a very graphic perspective. Any questions so far? Joe, did I miss anything?
No, I don't think so. Dan mentioned earlier talking about, the tool being different from an architecture or engineering, booklet or something you may have gotten in the past about your facilities, your infrastructure. That's kind of the role we play. We're not looking to put together the booklet though. What we found is you get a lot of information and that sort of thing. But it's not a tool like this that'll end up growing with you. And when we put those together, what happens is we get a lot of, and maybe a good segue for you, but we've done a lot of those assessments, and it's great. A lot of information for the Career Center and the district we're working with. But it just kind of lets you know, okay, here's all the stuff we need to improve and when we need to improve it. But it doesn't marry up with actually getting the things completed, which is the revenue side. And so that was really the reason School Firm and Bradley Payne kind of came together and in offering jointly as we need each other in order to produce it. But also it kind of fills a void that we've seen in the market when we do provide that assessment. We're happy to provide that sort of assessment. But we've seen a lot bigger impact on the districts, on the career centers we worked with, to a tool that they can actually manipulate and kind of see from a revenue and cost standpoint to be able to actually put a plan together, as opposed to, hey, here's your plan, all the things that need improved when they need improved.
So we were just presenting on this together at one of the locations. We had somebody in the room said, well, we just spent $225,000 on one of those assessments where they got the big binder that they went through and looked at every specific thing. Right. And they're like, what we really wanted was this, right? And it's a fraction of the cost. I mean, it's nowhere close to that.
So, I was just going to say, it's easier to go to that tool and pull down the menu and go to page 56, line 5.
Yeah.
To see row 2 to see what you're looking at.
Yeah.
You can just pull it right up.
Changes. It looks to me, sitting here not knowing this thing, that if there's a change, cost class to a project or equipment or something, it's relatively easy to make it, to adjust it in this plan that you have here.
Yes, it's very easy. So this part, if I go into the Belmont Career Center, this spreadsheet view, we can just make the change right there, like a spreadsheet. And then it feeds through everything else that's in the tool. So you very quickly get an adjusted full plan because you're able to adjust that spreadsheet. Now, we don't have it quite there yet where the school district can make the change themselves because we're still going through some of the programming, but that's our next kind of version update, is that the school district can just change it right there on the spreadsheet.
Well, it kind of limits, I mean, it's not a bad thing, because you have 10 people with access to this and everyone's making changes.
Yeah.
Who's to say that's the final rule?
Which is exactly
a good, like 1 point or 2 people have the feed to you guys, and you guys can make input and make the changes.
To the changes question, because it's a good question, because I think that's the one thing when talking with the treasurers, the superintendents, we get involved with facilities directly. So with the facilities folks, that book is static. Whenever we produce those type of assessments, those binders, those books, once they're delivered, they're delivered. This tool, and I know we've got a couple of different options, Dan, but the idea being every 6 months or once a year coming back, and once it's put in place, it's very easy from a consultant standpoint. It's very easy to come back and we have the lay of the land. We can go through and say, hey, what was completed in the past 12 months, 6 months? It's easy to capture that. And then if we need to do a little bit of a walkthrough here or there, validate a couple of things, we can do that. And to your point, we can adjust if the district says, hey, we've got an inflow of cash or it's gone the other way, then we can adjust accordingly so that it fits the revenues with the Career Center as well. So I think that's just important to note, and I'm sure you're going to get there, Dan. But
now, as things are completed, can you go in and put a green check mark, and it puts it in a new category that says, okay, this has been done, and takes it off of this side?
what we have right now is if your treasurer gives us a report, it's gonna go in and update actuals plan. So it's kind of like that. That's a good idea though. I like your check.
Yeah.
Maybe
they-
we'll
they
figure
could
out a
just
way to
go
do that.
through the
Yeah.
done column. and-
Right, check, there it is.
Yeah.
Or actual expenses. You can just see your.
Yeah, that's what we accrued. Right, when, as we get to like the end of the first year, we're gonna update based on his books. He's gonna send us a report and it's gonna update an actual column next to the plan. And we look at it and say, okay, which things, sit down with the team, say which things need to move to the next year, which things got done and they're over with. What things have we decided not to do for a couple of years? And we'll make that adjustment as the actuals come in.
Do you,
Go ahead.
when you have done these in the past, Dan, do you go back through and populate historical data, or do you concentrate on like this point, or this, say, next school year, fiscal year starting then? Or do you put a year in so you have that historical trend?
Yeah.
Do you go back at all, or you just look forward?
So we've been doing this for about 4 years now, and we started with a 2 to 3 year look because that historical trend would give us some information about where the school is already spending money. What we found was the historical trend really didn't give us much. It wasn't too helpful. So at this point, we haven't done one of those in a while, but that's not to say we know how. If the district said we really want to see the last 2 years, it's easy to take the report, drop it in there and see, what it was. So,
You just answered my question. You said you've had this program for 4 years.
yeah, we've been running it for about 4 years now.
Are there any school districts in our general area that have this program running?
Mid-East CTC, which is over in Zanesville, is probably the closest to here. We've worked with Bel Air and we've worked with Martin's Ferry, but we haven't got to them. They haven't gone and said go yet, they haven't said go, so. Yeah, yeah,
As you look at me.
yeah.
And that's what actually happened. I ran into Matt Sheridan at the basketball conference and was talking about some of our outbuildings that we discussed prior. And he said, well, you need to go down here and talk with Dan. So that's how I got hooked up with Dan. And then Dan and I talked. And then, we were supposed to do it last month, doing it this month.
Right.
And again, my thought process is, let's be proactive about what we're doing in the building and what needs done. Like he said, not only, buildings and facilities, but also, looking at curriculum and technology. And that way we know where we're spending our money, not to say that we're not going to have issues that come up, but again, to be proactive and, have a plan in place, and then we can go from there and build on that to a strategic plan for our district. So, to kind of have that vision and how we're going to move forward and grow was kind of my thought process. So.
With that in mind, does your staff, between the two of you guys, if we're looking at, a 10-year forecast, we could throw a number out there, but we don't know if it's true or not, you know what I mean? Like an HVAC system, we might put $750,000, but we start quoting out, it might come back 900,000. So how much?
It's a good point, because we put out bid packages for clients too. And so we do an engineering estimate. You always tell the clients, hey, the engineering estimate's gonna be wrong. But we're trying to get within an order of magnitude. Yeah, so we can put something on there, and the idea being that we're gonna capture everything. And so we're not trying to have a hole. So we're not gonna, if we missed boilers in a building, for an example, it's like, well, there's not boilers for a whole building on the plan. Well, we should at least capture how many boilers. Let's have a cost per load as far as how big the boilers are. We try and put that basically to what we're seeing in the marketplace. We're doing a lot of these. We're putting bid packages out for clients. We're doing commissioning. So we have a touch on the marketplace. But to your point, you can only get the work done for what the contractors are willing to do the work for.
Yeah.
And so it's not an exact science, but by no means are you going to have a boiler system or a heating plan on there listed for $50,000, and it's actually $500,000.
Yeah.
It might be listed on there for $500,000. Bids come in at $600,000.
Yeah, it's gonna be close.
It's gonna be close. So some are gonna be high, some are gonna be low, but the idea is everything's accounted for on the plan, and so nothing's a surprise. Yeah, it's a great question.
Good question. I got, what's a program like this? What would it cost us?
Yeah, so we're in the range of between 20 and $35,000, depending on how much you want us to go into the details of each bill.
And that lasts for how long?
Well, that's the first year where we put it all together.
Okay.
Then each year after that, assuming you want us to come back twice a year, you're looking at probably 10,000 a year. If we get this to where you want to do all the entry yourself and you want your folks to do it, that price will come down. We're not trying, this is neither one of our total business. We want to be your MA when you go to do finance. If you decide you're going to finance something, if you decide you want to, put a bond issue on 10 years from now, we want to be your partner up to that. So that we're not trying to make every nickel we can on this. This is something we want to offer our clients so that at the end of the day, we're here as your partner when you get ready to do the bigger stuff. And to that point, let me just show you a little bit more. Oops. Back to this overview page. So once we have your expenses and your revenue, we're going to put the revenue in as well. So a lot of times folks go through and put the capital expense in, but they don't even look at what revenue you have available to address it. So we'll work through that with your team and say, what do you want to count on now, the general fund? Do you have PI? Do you want to do a transfer? Those kinds of things, so that we're looking at revenue over expense. And then we have a way that we can look at different options. So we can play the what if game. So this graphic is showing this forecasted amount. In this particular instance, they were way over, the demo shows expense way over revenue. So you can see the cash balance is falling, kind of picks up a little bit at the end. We can look at different options to address that on the right. So as we're working with you, we can say, well, what if we did this new project, or we did this expansion over here instead of renovating this old part of the building over here? Or what if, right? And we can play those scenarios out and make them check boxes. So we say, well, project one is another $4.7 million that we need to spend that isn't in here yet, and it's adjusting the plan. So we can look at, well, what if we finance $10 million? When money came in and payment going out. Levy's probably not going to be on the table right now, but but we can look at, what if we use 3 million of our cash balance? How does that help us? So we can do those different scenarios and give you a comparison from, here's if we do nothing, this is what we're facing, and this is if we use our revenue this way, we at least stabilize in this case for 3 years, right? So it gives us an ability to do different scenarios for you to help you figure out what you want to do.
A lot easier than looking at Mark's sheets.
It's not right, is it, Mark? Hard.
Like, you have to go to the book, go back to the bond, you have to write it in.
Yeah.
This just makes a whole lot.
Well, and from the consulting standpoint, the facility side, the A&E side, we're happy to go back. So for example, if there's a certain situation where you say, hey, we've got an influx of cash coming in 3 years, or we feel like we can get a levy passed in the future. And if we get past at this point, what types of systems, based on your guys' walkthrough, based on your analysis, what are the ones we should be putting a little more urgency on as far as, accomplishing in years 1, 2, or 3, and what can we maybe push off? Everyone's situation is different, but so there's like inside of what Dan's looking at here, there's a lot of variables in the plan as far as trying to figure out a solution that's going to work for your exact situation. So everybody's different. Everyone's situation is different, where you're at, where you want to go, what funds are available. So it's just, it's like an open book, or a blank book. It's trying to figure out something that's going to work for your situation. So that's what we're here for.
I remember I was a treasurer, so I got really tired of, I was in a little more of a local district, and so we got to have a football stadium. We want a football stadium. We go for a football stadium. Everybody's so thrilled to get the football stadium. We put the football stadium in, and 3 weeks later, the maintenance guys in my office saying, our HVAC is shot. I need the $3 million more for the air conditioning or the chiller, whatever it is. Well, if we'd known that back when we did the football stadium, we could have put it all together and nobody would have cared, right? Because they wanted the football stadium. But there's nobody that wants to put money into an HVAC system if they can help it, right? That's not fun. I don't even like to do that at home. Right? So this is kind of the culmination of that experience, you know, back when I was a treasurer, was like, let's try to get everything on the table so it isn't, hey, do we have the money for it? Do we have the money for it? Let's all look at whether or not we have the money for it, and let's prioritize where we want it to go.
I have understand what proposing and what benefits it has for districts. My concern is the uncertainty in school funding issues statewide. You can't trust the legislator in Columbus because they don't know their toes from the frame. And with the property tax issue headed for the ballot next year, it becomes an issue and how much we're gonna have to work with. Can we obligate ourselves to a contract, even a small $35,000, which is peanuts?
Yeah.
And that's out. But I have great concerns about the uncertainty of fiscal issues of the state of Ohio where they move.
That's right. That's fair. And one thing I'll tell you is the contract, you can get out of it anytime you want. Like, we don't hold anybody to anything. So if the property tax changes, we get this done and we got the first year in, and you're like, we don't have it anymore. We can't do 10,000.
State of Ohio is
Cut it off. Yeah.
to meet your obligation by court order.
Yes.
They've been ordered to fix funding. They haven't done.
Yeah.
I'll say that if that is the case, we won't be doing involved.
That's right. That's right.
No, and actually,
And
There'll be other districts that'll pull out, right?
no, 100%, and it's a good question because it is the hot topic right now with it, and we do this for counties too, and it seems like counties are kind of like 6 months behind schools as far as the alarm bells going off, and so what we've seen since all of, you know, that's been basically the temperature of the marketplace, the desire for the capital plan in the market for the districts, for the counties has increased dramatically. We've been getting a lot more asks of, can you come in? Can we look at the tool? Can we do that? The idea, and everyone can make their own decisions, but, you know, let's just have one uncertainty. So if we have the certainty from the side of knowing what we need to do, when it's coming due, or when the life expectancy, I should say, because if you have a 20-year-old boiler and it's at a 20-year life expectancy, it's not going to fail tomorrow, but it should be on the list. So there's uncertainty from the funding side. This helps eliminate some uncertainty from the cost side, if you view it that way. So great concern. But we've seen a lot of interest from this increase because of those funding uncertainties.
We want to know what they can do and possibly when they can do it. In this way, if that does happen, you can go back into the plan and go, okay, we don't have this money anymore, we can pull that out. We can put something smaller in, whatever. So there's like,
we can very quickly put pictures to what it is that you can't pay for. Right?
yeah,
And here it is. This is what we had split. This is what we have coming, and property tax is gone. So this is what's gone. And there's a value to that as well. Just being able to say what you want us to do with this.
I'll say when property tax is gone, there's gonna be more gone.
Yeah. That's
People don't realize what's gonna be gone. When they say you don't know what's gone until it's gone, they'll find it.
we will all find.
Yeah, it's gonna be painful.
Any other questions for us?
Thank you.
We want to thank you
Thank you,
very
Brad.
much, very
Thank
informative,
you so much.
very
Appreciate it.
informative, gives us an idea.
You have the link now to the demo. Feel free to, if anybody wants to click around in it, you're not gonna hurt anything.
Okay.
You know, have a look at it and let us know if we can help.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I do.
Please, please.
Drive soon.
Yeah, please. We don't know what we want to have.
We'll try to get back.
Thank you so
I'll
much.
give you guys 3.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Oh, you got my stuff. Okay. Thank you.
Are you ready, Mark?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's hear
Okay, next thing is the minutes was sent out with your packets. Was there any questions or comments on the minutes? If not, I recommend to the board to approve last month's minutes.
Still move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Continue, treasurer.
Okay, on the treasury report. Okay, first I wanted to start off by talking about some of our board members' terms will be up January 1. I identified all the schools, but give them an update where we're at and who's up and what they need to do. They'll need to appoint someone to our board at the January meeting, this organizational meeting. And also, I wanted to point out, just because you're not on your home board, you can still be on our board. Most of you guys already know that, but I think some people did not know that. And also, we do not have term limits. That came up as well. But, just so you know, so we had a couple of board members that didn't run again this year, but they can continue to stay on our board if they choose to. And when their term's up, as long as their home board would appoint them again, they can still
When
serve on our board.
when they first put that in, when they first changed it, they did have term limits. It was
Yeah.
2-3 year terms, and then it got changed real quick.
Yeah. And it only lasted for a year or two. And they-
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
Exactly. Also, depending on how this week goes, the payment for the, attending the board meetings, we're planning on doing that this week. And that should be posted on the 19th, and then the module checks will done as well.
Okay.
Thank you. Now getting to the, test summary that was in your packet. This is for the month of November. Month-end balances for general fund, $5,715,608.64. Bond retirement, $2,050.50. Cafeteria fund, $17,261.73. Our termination benefit fund, $140,542.91. Our capital project fund, $2,924,522.38. We did get our funds for the Perkins grant, finally. And then our grand total of all funds was $9,192,300.83. Gas disbursement for the month of November was $1,265,877.57. Interest earned for the month of November was $28,703.63. This is the date, $165,910.82. Any questions on any of the stuff that I discussed? Including the board appointment? If not, I recommend the board to approve items A through C.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
All right, superintendent report for December. I have the November, students of the month. Here at Belmont Career Center, 9th grade, we have Parker Henchman from Construction Trades, and he is a St. Clairsville student. 10th grade, Wyatt Cundiff, Auto Technology from Bridgeport. 11th grade, Kiara McBee, Dental Assisting from Harrison Central. 12th grade, Haley Hagler, Welding from Shadyside. And at the Harrison Career Center, we have 9th grade, Philip Arbaugh from Ag Mechanics. 10th grade, Melody Osman Trussell from Hospitality. 11th grade, Caleb Best from Construction Trades. And 12th grade, Alexander Weister, Visual Graphics. So congratulations to the November students of the month. Here at Belmont on December 4th, we had our winter extravaganza. It was a very successful event. It was the Staying Clean Club and the Sources of Strength that sponsored that. And we had a lot of young children come in, and they did some face painting, some coloring, a lot of games. They got pictures with Santa. the Grinch was here. So we had a lot of, Buddy the Elf was here, so we had a lot of fun and the kids really enjoyed it. And it was nice, actually having, the parents come in and comment about our building. And also the Times Leader did a nice little article, about us here as well. So, thank you to those that sponsored and came out to that event. This week, we're doing a Spirit Week here at Belmont and Harrison. So I don't know, with the school being closed today and tomorrow as well. I don't know how much of a Spirit Week we're going to have, but hopefully on Wednesday through Friday, hopefully, students can enjoy what's left of the Spirit Week. And the last thing that I have is winter break begins on December 22nd and lasts through January 2nd. And hope everybody enjoys their time. So thank you.
On the legislative report, I've gotten back a lot of feedback from the assembly that we have in Columbus. And the overwhelming majority of people, school board members, are talking about how they believe that this funding of the parochial and private schools is creating wide gaps in public education. They tell you it's 1 billion, but if you look at every little thing that they're doing with all the scholarships, it's closer to 2 billion. So I think that they're hoping that nobody will do anything, nobody will raise an amendment or anything that can dislodge this amount of money being spent on other than public education.
Is there still cost of the constitutional?
And the constitutional amendment, we've already had the one judge rule that this is unconstitutional. State immediately is taking it. They want to go to further courts because they figure they'll find a court that'll back them, which unfortunately I'm not so sure, because if they use the Southern District that's in southern part of the state, I think they are much more in favor of what we propose than what the state is proposing. So we'll have to wait and see, but that's the first glimmer that I've seen in the last few months that gives me a little bit of hope that public education is still going to be viable and strong in this state.
And every time I read the new amendments and what they're asking for, it's just degrading public education. And it's,
I will say the potential new governor is not, he may go down the road even further than where we are now.
did you see the new polls on the
did.
governor?
I did.
And
She's winning.
she was winning 46 to 45. Now, I don't know how long that kind of, because she's not gonna have the pockets that Ramaswamy's got.
But he's pretty rad.
I think people are gonna have to take strong looks, no matter what political party you are, what is gonna be best for public education. So let's just see where we go, but I'll probably be out there. My wife says, just don't come back with your head bashed. So I don't know. Sometimes you have to speak.
Tell her she'll take care of it.
Yeah, she might. That's all I have, but we'll keep at it.
All right, next up, we have the Student Wellness and Success Funds. Just again, this is just something that we have to do. We were supposed to do this last month and Mark and I talked about it and forgot to put it on the agenda. So all funds will be used to provide mental health services, physical health care services, and homeless services to our students. And so we contract with the East Central Ohio EFC for our school nurse and our prevention specialist. We also pay for our school counselor, who is also our homeless liaison, and our mental health rep from Southeast. And the DPIA dollars, those are used for multiple incentives, including our dropout prevention and CCAP. Dropout prevention is through the EFC as well, and CCAP is through the Belmont County Juvenile Court System. We have our in-school suspension programs here and at Harrison. It also allows us to be able to have our school resource officers here at Belmont and at Harrison. It pays for our fire security monitoring as well as the public school works, which allows our employees to get their necessary mandatory trainings. Any questions about the use of those funds? That just-
No, that's just. Got executive session. I like to have a motion. Motion and second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. We're in 6:42.
Get the windows view in the bottom. We're bringing up. Bottom right.
On the bottom head of
Oh, right here. I hit it on there, so.
The other one. What's the?
To the right, bottom right.
The other one.
My other right, okay.
Right ahead now.
I don't know.
On the taskbar.
On the taskbar. I'm blind.
I got you.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
I'm not following it either.
Oh, the actual, oh, thank you. I'm sorry.
Anyway.
Okay, item number 9, employment recommendations A through C. We had a request for resignation, accept the resignation request of Richard Lazier, custodian at the Harrison Career Center, effective December 1st, 2025.
Did we just hire it?
Yes.
We did, yes, and we'll let Michelle talk a little bit about that. B, new hires, we have 2, we have an addendum as well, but we have Aubrey Stewart. She was our in-school suspension person, and she left us and decided to come back, and she's going to come back as the parapro educational aide at HCC. She will be the one-on-one aide for our student out there. And her effective date was December 11th. And then we also have Paul Letty. He is the part-time custodian at the Harrison Career Center, 1-year contract effective January 5th, 2026. And C, we have a substitute for 25-26 school year, and we're going to look at Loretta Hannes. She is our in-school suspension person here, and she wishes to do some sub work in the maintenance custodial area over Christmas break. Michelle?
So the first thing with the resignation request, Richard Lazier came to us as a part-time custodian. On his day that he was supposed to start, his car had broken down over the weekend and unfortunately had to resign from his position because he did not have reliable transportation in order to get to work. So it was very unfortunate circumstances that we had to accept his resignation letter. Aubrey is, like she said, Aubrey is coming back to us from the ESC. She was our, she's been subbing in the role since last board meeting. Hired her on as a substitute at the last board meeting. So she has actually been active in her role as a paraprofessional, subbing in that role until we can get her effective now as of December 11th. And then we interviewed 3 candidates for the part-time custodian position at Harrison Career Center, and we recommended Paul Letty in order to get the position filled. I think it was Letty's job. He has not started in the position, so he is actually a retired laborer. He is just looking for something to keep himself busy, and he seems like he's a very hard worker, and his references date back stellar from previous employment. So I'm excited to have him on board.
Mr. Moore?
Okay.
These 1-year contracts, is that 1 year from the effective date or the 1 year school?
It will be for the part-time people, it will be for the remainder of the school year.
Personnel committee met and we heard that once again, excellent job of getting us the right people put in the right spots.
So you've been pretty busy.
Yeah,
About the last 5 months.
that's okay.
Have a motion,
I'll move.
have a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Continue.
Thank you, Michelle, again for that.
Yes, very much.
Okay, item 10A, compensation and mileage rate for the board members. Be it resolved that the members of the Belmont Harrison Vocational School District be compensated for board meetings at the maximum rate allowed or authorized by law and the highest IRS approved rate for travel. The board members shall be compensated for the board of approved training at the maximum rate authorized by law. B, the tax budget for fiscal year 2027. It's July 1, 2026 to June 30th, 2027. This is enclosed in your packet. Approve the proposed tax budget for fiscal year 2027, which begins July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027, and then an additional 6 months estimate after that. Also, there is one, and that was handed out as well, student activity count. And hopefully the last month we'll get closer to the end of the year. Approved student activity count as per board policy and the rules and regulations of the state of Ohio for the 2025-2026 school year.
And the professional meetings and out of school activities, we have, Alan Albright, who, is our ag instructor at the Harrison Career Center. He would like to take 10 students to the Nashville Farm Show in Louisville, Kentucky, from February 13th through the 14th of 2026. If you want to make that correction there. And basically, they sold the fruit, and that allows them to go on this field trip, and you can see the cost there is $31.74 for, and then those students.
He has someone that goes with him.
Yes, he does, yes, he has a female.
Looks like Mike Neese.
Yes, absolutely, yes. If there aren't any questions, I recommend the Board of Education approve the contracts and other board items A through D.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, item 11. East Central Ohio ESC service agreements for tax valuation services approved. A service agreement with East Central Ohio Educational Services for tax valuation services for the calendar year 2026. Any questions? And I also handed out a copy of that contract prior to the board meeting throughout the year. The price has stayed the same, $2,500. Not I recommend the board to approve the above item.
Eric, you have a second?
I'll second.
You second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Continue.
Okay, the policies were handed out at the last month's board meeting for your review. The policy committee met prior to the meeting and reviewed the recommended changes, and we were all okay with it. Is there any questions or comments on any of the policies that were provided? Not, I recommend the board to approve the above policy.
I'll move that one since I was there. That's one. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, now we have to establish the date, the time of our organizational meeting for the month of January 2026. Probably the 26th would work best for us, because we don't have to have it before the 15th or by the 15th anymore.
Yeah.
For ESCs, but that gets us past our homeschool, so they can get the elections done for our board.
Okay.
So the following, or the normal Monday that we would have our meeting is a holiday.
Right.
So the 26th is looking good on the calendar, if that's good with everybody else.
What's the holiday?
Martin Luther
Oh,
King Day.
okay. That's okay.
So then the time will be still 6, the 19th. We're gonna go to the 26th.
26th. If that's good with everybody.
6 o'clock.
That's good for, whatever is good for you guys.
Yeah, everyone, so you guys.
Let's do 6.
Yes.
Okay, so you'll have it. It's 26th at 6 o'clock.
Yes. If we would.
No. That was my thought, but that's not.
Okay, if everybody's okay with that, I need a motion.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, go to the next one.
Okay, now we need the election of a pro tem president for the January board meeting, since we're starting a new year. There's 4 board members that are eligible. That would be Jason Ayers, Eric Gardner, Debbie Kinney, or John Nagel. If somebody would please provide a nominee.
Yeah, because the rest of us we can't get.
Yeah, we have to swear you in.
Right, we're not.
I nominate Jake.
Okay. Oh, boy.
I got all three games. Okay. Any other nominations? We need a motion.
I'll make. Debbie, I like that.
And second? All in favor, please say aye.
I stay.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Is there any other items to be brought for this board tonight? Seeing none, meeting adjourned. Thank you all.
See you.
And thanks, administration.